Hi children, our next topic is amphibolic pathway. We are all familiar with this pathway. Okay, it is the typical aerobic pathway which involves glycolysis, that is from the glucose to pyruvic acid. The second phase, oxidative decarboxylation, is this, and the last phase is the Krebs cycle. So, the center part we are very familiar. So, here we notice that the arrow is going down line, and as we go from one product or intermediate to the other, we are saying the word breaking down. So, we see that glucose is broken down into pyruvic acid. Again, pyruvic acid is breaking down through the Krebs cycle, and finally we have the end products as carbon dioxide, water and energy. So, this is known as a breaking down process. So, basically or traditionally respiration was called a catabolic process, a breaking down process, and photosynthesis was called an anabolic process which involved building. Okay. But let us see whether this terminology catabolism is justified. The usual substrate for glycolysis or for aerobic respiration is glucose. In the next slide we will say why this is the preferred substrate. If at all there is glucose in dire conditions, sometimes which when glucose is not available in our body, there are other substrates that serves the purpose for respiration. So, it can be the fats, other components of food like fats, or it can be proteins. So, I am going to see or assume a situation where there is no glucose in the system and the other substrate that forms a path for glycolysis or aerobic respiration. Okay. That only occurs under dire condition, and I am giving you an if clause, if glucose is not the substrate. Okay. Only under dire conditions there are the other components that serves as the substrate for respiration. If fat serves as a substrate for respiration, what we know, fats by digestion itself it is broken down into fatty acid and glycerol, we have studied. And if proteins is used, we have learned in digestion that proteins is broken down into amino acids. Now, we are going to see how they are going to enter the respiratory pathway. This fatty acid can be broken down, see again I am using the term broken down, into a product called acetyl coenzyme A. When it is broken down into acetyl coenzyme A, it can enter the usual pathway. See this pathway it has entered because it is a part of the regular pathway, acetyl coenzyme A, and then it can undergo Krebs cycle and we have the products. So, in that way fatty acids participate in respiration. If not fatty acid, I am going with glycerol. Glycerol is broken down into some intermediates, and finally we get dihydroxyacetone phosphate, DHAP. Again it is a part of our glycolysis. So, like that way it enters the pathway. So, if it is not glycerol, dealing with proteins, we know proteins broken down to amino acid, and this amino acid is broken down into a product called pyruvic acid, and we know pyruvic acid is a part or an intermediate path or product of aerobic respiration. That is how it enters into the regular pathway. So, in these two we see this breaking down taking place by catabolism. We use the terminology catabolism. But usually happens that sometimes our body, if there is no sufficient fatty acids in our body, the fatty acids should get synthesized. If there is no sufficient glycerol in our body, the glycerol should be synthesized. Similarly, amino acids also are needed in our body. If suppose amino acid is lacking, it should be synthesized. In that case, what happens is, for example, fatty acids need to be synthesized in our body. What happens? The acetyl coenzyme A withdraws from the respiratory pathway, and look at the arrow going reverse arrow, and synthesize fatty acid. See how fatty acid is synthesized? Now, you can see the reverse arrow where the acetyl coenzyme A, which is a part of the respiratory pathway, withdraws and synthesizes, not breaks, builds fatty acid. Similarly, if glycerol is needed by the body, what happens? DHAP, which is a part of the pathway, synthesizes glycerol. See the reverse arrow. Similarly, amino acids also, sometimes if the body is lacking amino acids, then the pyruvic acid will withdraw from the respiratory pathway, and instead of breaking down, instead of undergoing breaking down, it will undergo building up process. It will synthesize the amino acids. So now you can see the very respiratory pathway. See, this respiratory pathway is involved in both the process. It's involved in both catabolism, when I showed you with the down arrows, which indicates breakdown, and also it is involved in anabolism, which was indicated with the up arrows, when it requires to synthesize glycerol or fatty acid or amino acids, the particular intermediates withdraw and synthesize. So we see that, once again I am reiterating, this aerobic pathway or this respiratory pathway is involved in both catabolism and anabolism. So is it likely justified that we call the respiratory pathway as a catabolic process? No. That's why the respiratory pathway is given a word or terminology, amphibolic pathway, which indicates both anabolism and catabolism. So the traditional convention of saying respiration is a catabolic process is ruled out. Now it is, respiration is considered as an amphibolic pathway. So to understand that, you must say sometimes our body needs to synthesize fatty acids or glycerols or amino acids. In that case, the intermediates of the respiratory pathway withdraws and synthesize. So not only breakdown, this build up. So both anabolism and catabolism are involved, or respiratory pathway participates in both anabolism and catabolism, and therefore it is likely justified that the respiratory pathway is not a catabolic process but an amphibolic process. I hope this term is justified. Now I told you the three pathways we saw in the previous diagram. We had it with glucose as a beginner, then this side we saw proteins and this side we saw fats. Okay. Now among these three components of food, the favored product is glucose for favored substrate, the favored substrate is glucose for respiration. The reason why I am bringing with that equation, I will try to elicit the answer. We know respiration, the equation is like so: glucose C6H12O6 plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide plus water plus energy. This is a basic equation. Now I am going to balance it. Here we have 6, 6 and 6. Now from this equation I am going to see the amount of oxygen evolved, consumed, amount of oxygen consumed and the amount of carbon dioxide evolved. And I am going to substitute it in this formula, which is respiratory quotient. What is respiratory quotient? It is the volume of carbon dioxide evolved to the volume of oxygen consumed. So I am going to substitute. Okay, RQ is equal to volume of carbon dioxide evolved by volume of oxygen consumed. If I substitute, look at the amount of oxygen consumed, 6. Here it is 6 oxygen, and amount of carbon dioxide evolved, 6 carbon dioxide, which means 6 by 6 means 1. Now the respiratory quotient in glucose is equal to 1, and it is favored because the volume of oxygen and carbon dioxide is equal. It is same. The volume of carbon dioxide evolved is equivalent to the volume of oxygen consumed, and the respiratory quotient is equal to 1. So this is complete oxidation is occurring when glucose becomes a substrate. That's why it is favored, where the RQ is equal to 1. From this 1 itself you can indicate that the amount of oxygen and carbon dioxide is equal, which is therefore a favorable substrate. But if you take the case of fats, the amount of carbon dioxide evolved to the amount of oxygen consumed, it is found when calculated 102 carbon dioxide is evolved utilizing 145 molecules of oxygen. Look how unhealthy it is. See, look at the volume of oxygen, 145 oxygen molecules are consumed to release 102 molecules of carbon dioxide. So, is this fats favored, which becomes equivalent to 0.7. The RQ there will be equal to 0.7. It is not favored because a lot of oxygen is consumed, which is unhealthy. Lots of oxygen consumed to produce lesser amount of carbon dioxide. Similarly, in the case of proteins, RQ is again lesser than 1, it is equal to 0.9. So, from this what I conclude is, it is ideal that the RQ is equal to 1, and RQ is equal to 1 only in the case of glucose. Hence, glucose is only used as a substrate for respiration, not proteins or fats. There, the previous slide was assumed under dire conditions also I said that other components of food serves as a substrate, namely fats or proteins, but the favored substrate is glucose. Why? RQ is equal to 1. The amount of oxygen and the amount of carbon dioxide is equal. The amount of oxygen consumed is equal to the amount of carbon dioxide liberated. Clear? Rather than more oxygen consumed for less carbon dioxide produced. So, the favored substrate is glucose. So, from this we can understand among the components of food, fats, glucose or proteins, the substrate for respiration is always glucose in reality. I hope you have understood amphibolic pathway and the respiratory quotient. Thank you.